Let's get right into it. Number 1. Fear of heights. Back when we were hunting mammoths and occasionally becoming mammoth chow, having a deathly fear of high places made total sense. Cliff equals bad. Falling equals worse. So your brain evolved to hit the panic button the second your toes got too close to an edge. Perfect survival programming, right? But fast forward to today, and that same instinct can absolutely wreck your chances of actual survival. Picture this. You're stuck on the 15th floor of a burning apartment building. The fire escape is shaky but still standing. Your brain, screaming asterisk. Nope, death lies that way. Asterisk, your legs go jelly. You hesitate, and in a real emergency, hesitation can kill you faster than gravity ever could. Irony alert. The thing meant to keep you alive might literally keep you from saving yourself. Also, fun twist. Acrophobia isn't just about being afraid of falling. It can also trigger what's called the call of the void, or that weird intrusive thought where your brain goes, asterisk, hey, what if you jump though? Asterisk, that's your overprotective survival instinct trying so hard to stop you from falling that it accidentally invents a death wish. Basically, your brain is a helicopter parent with a panic disorder. Helpful when cliffs were our natural predators. Not so helpful when you're just trying to change a light bulb. Number 2, tunnel vision. Imagine you're being chased through a forest by something with a lot more teeth than you. Your heart races, your vision narrows, and suddenly you're hyper-focused on one thing. Not dying. That's tunnel vision, your body funneling all its resources into pure survival mode. Great if you're dodging tigers. Terrible if you're driving a car in a blizzard, or flying a plane with engine failure. Tunnel vision is one of those outdated upgrades from evolution's bargain bin. In modern crises, where split-second decisions require more information, not less, tunnel vision can make you miss obvious dangers or forget critical steps. Pilots and soldiers are actually trained against it, because the instinct literally shrinks your situational awareness. Your body thinks it's making you into a laser-focused superhero. In reality, you're the guy who misses the giant neon sign that says asterisk. This exit leads to not dying. Asterisk. Even worse, the stress chemicals that cause tunnel vision also mess with your memory and motor skills. So now you're not just blind to the bigger picture, you're also shaky, forgetful, and basically trying to perform brain surgery with oven mitts. Thanks, evolution. You turned us into adrenaline-fueled goldfish. Number 3. Freezing in place. You've probably heard of fight or flight, but let's not forget the third, more awkward cousin. Freeze. That's the one where your body just stops, like a deer in headlights, or you during a Zoom call when someone asks you a question and your brain forgets how words work. Freezing is a real, deeply wired survival response. Animals do it all the time. If you're a small rodent and a hawk's flying overhead, staying still might save your life. Predators notice movement more than shapes. So evolution taught your nervous system to throw the emergency brake when things go south. Makes sense if you're a bunny. If you're a human in a modern emergency, not so much. Freezing can get you killed in a fire, an assault, or any sudden threat where any action would be better than no action. It's why some people report feeling paralyzed during disasters. They're not weak or stupid. Their nervous system is just running on caveman firmware. And here's the kicker. The freeze response doesn't care about logic. You could be in a burning room, fully aware you should move, and still be physically unable to act. Your body is playing dead because it thinks you're about to be eaten. By what exactly? The IKEA couch fire? Basically, evolution gave us a survival reflex that's 1 part helpful, 2 parts useless, and 3 parts, oh no, why am I a statue now? Number 4, herd mentality. Let's say you're in a crowded shopping mall, and suddenly everyone starts sprinting toward the exit like there's a clearance sale on survival. You have no idea what's happening, but your legs? Already moving. Your brain? Fully on board with following the stampede, because surely they know something you don't. Welcome to herd mentality. The deeply ingrained instinct to do whatever everyone else is doing, because back in the prehistoric days, if your tribe ran, you ran. No questions, no timeouts, just primal FOMO for not dying. But here's the modern twist. This instinct can get you trampled, trapped, or turned into a background character in a disaster movie. When everyone follows everyone else without thinking, no one's actually leading. You get mass panic, blocked exits, and a whole lot of chaos. Ironically, the exact opposite of actual survival. Case in point, during real-life emergencies like nightclub fires or stadium evacuations, the herd instinct can cause people to ignore clearly marked exits because everyone is crowding one door. It's not stupidity, it's biology. Your brain assumes the group knows best, and it would rather die in a pile of strangers than break formation. Even worse, if no one reacts at all, you probably won't either. That's called pluralistic ignorance, and it's why people sometimes sit calmly while a fire alarm blares, because no one else is freaking out yet. In other words, we're all waiting for someone else's instincts to kick in first. Congratulations, your survival strategy is basically, let's copy Steve. He seems confident. Steve's on fire now. Number 5, sugar craving mode. Your body loves sugar, worships it, and it makes sense. Back when food was scarce and calories were gold, sugar meant quick energy and survival. Your brain evolved to treat sweet things like divine gifts. That banana? A miracle. That berry? Basically edible fireworks. But now, sugar is everywhere. In your drinks, your bread, your fake healthy granola bars. And your survival instinct is absolutely failing to adjust. It still thinks sugar is rare, so every time you consume it, your brain lights up like a slot machine jackpot. Dopamine. Cravings. Must. Eat. More. The problem is that this instinct literally cannot shut itself off. Even if you're full. Even if you know it's bad for you. Your survival programming is stuck in famine mode, hoarding sugar like it's prepping for the ice age. And the irony? It's killing you in slow motion. Obesity, diabetes, metabolic dysfunction. Modern diseases driven by ancient cravings. Your brain is trying to keep you alive by feeding you the biological equivalent of candy-coated poison. Neat. Even worse, sugar cravings spike during stress, because your body wants quick fuel for the imaginary tiger it thinks is chasing you. So after a hard day, your survival system sends you straight to the pantry to stock up on marshmallow armor. Basically, your ancient brain is trying to help, but it's using snack food as a shield against death. Number 6. Pain avoidance. Your brain hates pain. It's like that one friend who refuses to go camping because they once stepped on a Lego. And pain should be helpful, it tells you something's wrong. It's how you learn not to touch hot stoves, pet wasps, or open that mysterious app on your cousin's Android. But when it comes to real survival situations, pain avoidance can backfire hard. In emergencies, your body might need you to do painful things, crawl over glass, push through a broken ankle, run with a sprained knee. But your instincts scream, nope, shut it down. Let's just lie here and wait for help. Or death, whichever gets here first. There's a famous psychological effect called catastrophizing, where your brain turns pain into a full-blown disaster narrative. That twisted ankle? You're probably dying. That gash? You'll bleed out in 3 minutes tops. Your brain hijacks your thoughts with worst-case scenario theater, and suddenly you're immobilized not because of the injury, but because of your own mental overreaction to it. And in less dramatic situations, like going to the doctor or getting a vaccine, your pain-avoiding instinct still screws you over. People skip life-saving treatments just to avoid temporary discomfort. Your brain would rather feel okay for 5 minutes than stay alive for 5 decades. So yeah, thanks again, evolution. You made us the only species that fears the cure more than the disease. Number 7. Overreacting to silence. Let's say you're walking home at night and suddenly everything goes quiet. No birds, no crickets, not even a breeze. And without warning, your body goes full DEFCON 1. Goosebumps, racing heart, slight urge to become a professional sprinter. That's your survival instinct reacting to silence, and it's ancient. In the wild, sudden quiet usually meant a predator was nearby. Nature doesn't just pause for fun. It pauses when something big, sneaky, and toothy shows up. So your nervous system developed this neat trick. Total silence equals imminent death. Good to know. The problem is, modern life isn't exactly a jungle. Sometimes things are just quiet, but your brain doesn't care. It's like, why are the birds gone? Are we being hunted? Should I scream or just faint dramatically? Asterisk, even if there's zero threat, your body starts preparing for a horror movie plot twist that never comes. In urban areas, this instinct turns into anxiety. We're so used to constant noise that silence feels wrong. Like when your phone buzzes and there's no notification. Or when your friend goes, "We need to talk," and then vanishes for 3 hours. The silence itself becomes the threat. So ironically, your body now reacts more to the absence of danger signs than the actual danger. It's like having a security system that only freaks out when nothing is happening. Super helpful in a library, absolutely useless during a robbery. Number 8, hoarding like a squirrel. If you've ever panic bought 14 cans of beans during a blackout, congratulations, your squirrel brain is alive and well. Stockpiling food and resources used to be a brilliant survival strategy. Winter's coming? Better hoard those calories. Drought? Time to stuff your cave with mammoth jerky and emotional baggage. But in the modern world, hoarding can go from helpful to horrifyingly counterproductive real fast. Especially in group scenarios. Think disaster zones or economic collapse. Resources get tight, and instead of working together, people start hoarding like dragons with anxiety disorders. The worst part? This instinct scales. So the more people hoard, the more you feel the need to hoard. It becomes a loop. One guy clears out the toilet paper aisle, and suddenly the entire town's in a full-blown apocalypse cosplay. Everyone's pretending they're in The Walking Dead. But instead of zombies, it's just Karen fighting over hand sanitizer. Psychologists call this loss aversion. We fear losing things more than we enjoy gaining them. So when survival feels uncertain, we cling to stuff. Food, gas, bottled water. And the instinct to have enough turns into never enough, until your pantry looks like a doomsday bunker sponsored by Costco. Oh, and here's the kicker. In actual survival situations, hoarding can get you targeted, isolated, or just plain crushed under your own mountain of canned ravioli. So much for strategic preparation. Basically, you're trying to stay alive by turning into a raccoon with a Costco membership. Number 9, blind trust in authority. You're in a crisis. There's smoke, shouting, flashing lights, and someone in a uniform says, asterisk, it's all under control. Stay where you are. Asterisk, your instincts. Nodding like a golden retriever. Asterisk, of course. That person sounds confident. Surely they wouldn't lie in a life or death situation. Asterisk. And there it is, the deadly instinct to obey authority during chaos, even when logic says run. This trait goes way back. In tribal societies, the leader had to know what was up. If you didn't listen, you risked exile or worse, being eaten alone. So our brains evolved to associate survival with obedience, especially under stress. In modern disasters, that same instinct can turn into tragedy. People have stayed inside burning buildings because someone told them to wait for further instructions. Or boarded lifeboats too late because the crew said, "This is just a precaution." It's called agentic state theory. We give up personal responsibility when we think someone else is in charge. That's why even smart, capable people freeze up and wait for orders instead of thinking, asterisk, hey, maybe this is a terrible idea, asterisk. The sad truth is, authority figures aren't always right. Sometimes they're uninformed. Sometimes they're panicking too. And sometimes they're just winging it with the confidence of a raccoon in a lab coat. So yeah, your ancient obedience instinct, helpful when your tribe leader told you where the safe cave was. Deadly when your modern brain forgets to double-check the exits. Number 10. Overconfidence under pressure. You know that feeling when everything's going wrong, but somehow your brain decides this is fine, and you start making decisions like a caffeinated raccoon with a GoPro? That's overconfidence. And when your survival instincts mix it with adrenaline. Oof. You get people hiking into blizzards in t-shirts, attempting DIY surgery with a pocket knife, or saying things like, asterisk, I watched a YouTube tutorial on wilderness survival once. I got this. Asterisk. Overconfidence is a survival bug disguised as a feature. Back in tribal times, it helped people take risks. Hunting, exploring, inventing fire without roasting their eyebrows off. Confidence kept you moving forward. But today, that same instinct can steer you directly into danger. Under stress, your brain releases chemicals that trick you into feeling powerful. It's called the stress-induced adrenaline high, and it can make you feel invincible while actually being one wrong step away from a Darwin Award. Even worse, overconfidence often kicks in right when you're least capable of assessing the situation. Dehydrated? Panicked? Running on fumes? Great, your brain now thinks you're Bear Grylls with a sixth sense for survival. Spoiler, you are not. Psychologists have a term for this delightful mess: the Dunning-Kruger effect. Basically, the less you know, the more likely you are to think you're a genius, which is hilarious in a trivia night setting. In a wilderness survival scenario, slightly less funny. So yeah, if your first instinct during an emergency is, I can totally handle this alone, maybe pause and make sure you're not mistaking adrenaline for actual skill. Because confidence is great, but it won't keep you warm when you've accidentally used your last flare gun to cook a hot dog. Number 11. Prioritizing short-term comfort. Ah yes, another classic. The instinct to seek comfort, especially in the middle of disaster. You're cold, tired, hungry, and your brain goes, asterisk, let's just sit down for a minute, maybe take a nap. The avalanche will sort itself out. Asterisk because in the wild, resting when injured or exhausted made perfect sense. Your body needed to conserve energy, avoid pain, and wait things out. But in a modern survival scenario, that instinct can be the beginning of the end. Take hypothermia. The colder you get, the more your brain wants to stop moving. You feel sleepy, disoriented, and eventually you're convinced that lying down in the snow is a great idea. That's not just bad judgment. It's your comfort-seeking instinct trying to kill you with a cozy little nap. Or consider being lost in the woods. You might know that moving increases your chances of finding help. But your brain, screaming, asterisk, no. Let's stay by this log and panic quietly. That's safer, right? Asterisk. And don't get me started on hunger. Your body craves instant calories, so you might make dumb decisions like eating wild berries you can't identify or drinking from suspicious puddles. Because short-term comfort always wins in a showdown against long-term survival. This is how people end up making comfort-based decisions during crises. Choosing a dark shelter over an exposed signaling spot, keeping dry socks instead of wet clothes off, or staying put in a safe spot while help passes them by. Basically, your ancient instincts want to tuck you in with a warm blanket and wait out the danger. Too bad the danger doesn't care about nap time. Number 12. Misreading threats. Let's wrap this psychological messfest with one of the biggest survival glitches of all. Your brain sucks at threat detection. Sure, it's great at spotting spiders, snakes, or creepy basement shadows. That's called prepared fear. We're hardwired to fear certain things because they were once legit threats. But ask that same brain to assess real modern danger. Total disaster. You're more likely to die from a car crash than a shark attack, but your brain will happily ignore seatbelts while refusing to swim in the ocean. People worry about plane crashes but drive like maniacs every day. And when an actual emergency hits, we often focus on the wrong thing. This miswiring is called availability heuristic. Your brain thinks whatever's easiest to imagine is the biggest risk. So if you've seen 10 movies where someone gets mauled by a bear, your brain now thinks bears are lurking everywhere. Meanwhile, you forget to boil your water, which is how actual people die in the wild. And it gets worse in crowds. When everyone panics over the visible threat, like smoke or noise, they forget boring things like structural integrity or oxygen. So while you're avoiding a flame, the real killer is the lack of breathable air 2 floors up. So yeah, your instincts evolved to fear lions. But in today's world, it's the quiet, invisible, or boring stuff that actually kills you. Basically, your survival programming runs like a paranoid grandparent watching a horror movie, with zero ability to update the channel. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.